Welcome back, everybody, to another week here on the Patterson Report. I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. He's over there. And believe it or not, for some reason, somebody at the Phillies must have been watching our content because although this looks like our usual recording studios, Ryan and I are both actually coming to you from across the pond. Nah, that'd be kind of cool though if we were.
Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, we're still very much here in the Great Northeast. Although if Tim Kelly, if you're out there, former friend of the show, we would hop on a plane in the morning if you'd have us. Just putting that out there. But the Phils are in London. The boys are across the pond, isn't it? And it's pretty cool to see how the two teams have taken different approaches to this. I have friends who are Mets fans, and look, they know, but it's just if you saw any of the content from today, the Phillies are in full gear, hats, travel gear, the whole nine, like loud and proud Philadelphia Phillies out and about, going to the Passyunk Ave bar in London, which I don't know if you've seen any of their content, but it's so cool. They took a classic South Philly dive and dropped it into the city of London, which is just awesome. Rob Thompson was there. Some of the Phillies alum were there. The coaching staff was there. It was so cool. And then I've seen a little bit from Mets Twitter, and the players are in street clothes, super low profile. Please don't associate us with the Mets. Like it's really funny, just a tale of two teams.
Yeah, it's crazy to see the directions these kind of franchises have been going as of late. They both spend around the same amount of money. If you didn't really know that, if you looked at the records, you couldn't really tell.
Yeah, dude. Uncle Stevie put out big dollars, and they have not had a very good ROI on that.
No, not at all. It seems like disaster after disaster. I don't know if you saw the Diamondbacks clip from a couple days ago. The Mets broadcast team was like, well, let's not try to make another blown lead after the eighth.
Yes,
hit the home run on the next pitch.
Yeah, and then there's the Jorge Lopez clip.
Oh.
I feel like and look, I do feel kind of bad. I'm not going to harp on it. I feel bad for the guy. He's speaking in the second language, dude. I would get my tenses and all wrong in Spanish. But the fact that he accidentally said I play for the worst team in the league. Even though, like I said, it's not true. I feel bad what happened to him. That's another version of the Mets just being shitty. Because his interpreter came out and said, look, he was trying to say he feels like the worst teammate in the world. But what he said was, I feel like I'm on the worst team in the world. It sucks. Like I said, if I had to go play in like a Spanish baseball league, I would have 3 of those moments a week.
Oh, easily.
Well, we're talking about the tale of two franchises, and we'll get back to London in a second. That's kind of the current thing. But we didn't have an episode last week to talk about it. But when you think back to when Alec Bohm was caught on camera saying, "I fucking hate this place," and the Phillies then, like, he wasn't playing well, and they could have done what the Mets did with Lopez and DFA him, but that's just two different organizations. That's Rob Thompson believing in his guys. I believe that was on Rob Thompson's watch, wasn't it? No, that's still Girardi.
It might have been the tail end of Girardi. It feels like.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd say the two different organizations where, look, Alex said something I would say worse. I hate it here. He got ahead of it. The team got ahead of it, and now he and Marsh, I would say, are the two most beloved players on the Phillies, like from the fans. Like people are obsessed with their being roommates, the content. Everybody loves the whole team, but I think those two shine brightest. And then you look at the Mets, where this guy makes an honest mistake, English second language, and they DFA him.
It's that's a thing that people don't really factor into sports all that much is like, ownership groups and toleration from upper management. Like that goes for everything. I'll just use Philly examples here. Trey Turner performing bad. What happened to him? Standing O. I know it was more the fans and it wasn't really,
But they kept him in. The organization.
Oh yeah, upper management showed their trust in him, just like they're showing in Taijuan Walker now, tale of two coins. But like you see that, you uplift him, and good things happen. I don't think a lot of teams understand that. It's quite
No,
like the
like-
Phillies do.
And I promise I'm going to get back to London eventually, but this is kind of tied to London because you hear from they've had a lot of guys come back and a lot of Phillies alum talk about what it means to play for the city. And you had Chase Utley, who's the ambassador for the Phillies in London. I think he's an ambassador for MLB in London in general.
Cole Hamels on that flight too.
Yeah, and then Shane Victorino had an interview today. Rob Thompson's been on record saying it several times. All the current players, Kyle Schwarber's one. Tim Kirchin nationally has said the Phillies have something special. Like, it's so easy to harp on, the Snowballs 50 plus years ago, and we boo our own teams and what have you. But like, it's so easy to be liked here. I mean, Rhys Hoskins never won a ring. He was a 240 hitter, but he represented something. He was like a shining light in an era of dark Phillies teams. He played his ass off. He played through injury. He took accountability. Like, he just did everything right, and he got a Chase Utley level welcome back to the city. Like, I would argue, we are some of the more soft-hearted fans in sport. Like, if we love you till the end, ride or die, no matter what. And all you have to do to earn that love is play hard. It's not rocket science.
No. What was it? Was it Chris Sale it was in Boston this past week. I don't know if you saw that. It was the only people giving him a standing ovation in his return after the World Series team was the Red Sox dugout. Yeah,
like, that's what I'm saying. And, Boston's this great sports town, and the Celtics and the Red Sox, and it is. Like, it's a storied sports town, but, like, Philly gets so much shit for being tough place to play, players don't want to go to. Dude, if you just show up, do your job, and give the fans a reason to love you, that's forever. I mean, not looking at baseball, but, like, look at Allen Iverson. I mean, he's a guy who played extremely hard, 82 games a year. Little guy, AI kind of against the world, didn't go to practice, was generally kind of a dick to the media and outwardly. Like, he did everything he could to sour the goodwill that he had in Philadelphia. And still to this day, his his statue ceremony was must-see TV. When they hung his banner, I was there. It was a sellout. Anytime he goes to a Sixer game, people go nuts. Like, once we love you once, it's for life. And I don't think there's a lot of other fan bases that can really say that.
No, not really at all. I mean, there's certain instances with most of these fan bases, but I think it's everyone in Philadelphia. Like, of course, if Derek Jeter goes back to New York or something like that, or Aaron Judge in a couple of years, sure. But will they remember, like, the Alex Verdugos of the world? I don't want to take a slight at Alex Verdugo. He's a quality, fantastic player. Bats in the heart of the order. I just singled him out for whatever reason because he's the first player that popped into my head. But, like, Philly will remember those guys. Like,
dude, Matt Stairs. Matt Stairs is in London as like a Phillies ambassador. He did one cool thing one season, and he's an icon. Like, you're right. I think there's something, the teams have said it. A lot of the hype videos say it, and I love it because I think it just rings true. For whatever reason, the teams and the players just mean more here. And that's 1 through 9 plus your pitching staff bullpen. That's 1 through 54 on the Eagles. That's like 1 through 15 on the Sixers. Like, TJ McConnell, icon, forever loved. Like, it just means more.
He was hooping in that semis or the finals.
Yeah, dude, I was stoked. Like, I was watching. Like, I felt like I was watching my son. Like, I was proud of him, which is weird for a guy who's older than you.
Like, to put it in perspective, this run for Edmundo Sosa has probably already, like...
We'll get there.
He's okay.
We'll get there.
Hero status.
Yeah, we'll get
there. Philadelphia.
Before we get to Sosa, I saw the latest top 10 pitchers in baseball came out today. I believe it was by MLB.com. I'll have to look and see the source. But the Phillies have 4 of the top 6 pitchers in the MLB right now. You have Rangers number 1, followed by Wheeler. As far as this is based on ERA. So you got Ranger, Wheeler, Nola, and Walker, all inside the top 6, with Nola being number 6.
You mean Sanchez?
Yes, not Walker. Yeah, Christian Sanchez.
So don't. That's like a. It feels like a trigger word around Philadelphia.
It is.
Right
So my question for you is: we have 4 guys right now with a sub-3 ERA. Could this staff be better than the 4 aces staff of Oswalt, Holiday, Lee, Hattles, and everybody forgets Country Joe, but I'm not going to forget Country Joe Bland.
Nah, I mean, it's a little early in the season, but if we're going off of current pace and tracking, it's this staff. I mean, Rangers having one of the better seasons out of anyone. I think if he continues this pace or even slows down a little, I think you should win the Cy Young over Wheeler. Honestly, he's just been incredible. You have Sanchez, who's been pitching really good as of late. And then, of course, Wheeler and Nola, the 2 at the top. I mean, I think I got to go with 2024. And it might not even be close by the time we get done with it, especially if we have some postseason success like we didn't with that group.
Yeah, and that's where it really does get kind of tricky because I'm right there with you. I think if we're talking season for season, look, resume, there's no debate. I mean, the 4 aces resume-wise have almost every pitching staff ever beat. But if we're talking one season with the Phils, it's this 2024 team. Regular season, right now, they're red hot. If you told me the playoffs start tomorrow and I could have the 4 aces or this 2024 squad, I'm still taking the 4 aces. I mean, it's just because you had these guys do it differently, and there was a great rundown on MLB Network about the Phillies as a whole, but more specifically Ranger Suarez. And that 4 aces, everybody had devastating stuff. Roy Halladay, untouchable.
Dude.
Cliff Lee, untouchable. Roy Oswalt could paint the corners like better than anybody. Not better than anybody, but he is extremely accurate. And then Cole Hamels, I mean, that's when his peak of that circle change was just about unhittable for guys. So they did it differently. They had devastating stuff. This 2024 team's kind of cool because you look at Ranger Suarez, his fastball sits low 90s. Great change, a lot of break, really good command. Zach Wheeler, who used to be a flamethrower, his average fastball velo is like 95 now. He's beating you different ways.
He gets up if he needs to. We've seen it.
Oh, he can still dial it up, but he's not like he used to be a one-trick pony. He would just blow it by. Now that curveball's nice. He's working in that. I think he worked in a cutter this year. That's been a difference maker. So he's doing it differently. Aaron Nola has never been a speed guy, but again, that knuckle curve is great. That changeup's great. And then, like I said, I talked about like Rangers. So they're doing it differently, which is kind of cool. But I think as far as devastating stuff, that 4 aces stat is hard to beat.
If you ask me right now, hey, it's game 1 of the World Series, you could get any 8 of these pitchers. Who do you want to start the game?
Roy.
It's Doc Holiday. It's Doc like 20 times out of 20. Like I love the current staff, but man, Doc was just the anniversary of his perfect game was just a couple days ago.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly,
I remember that game as clear as day. Well,
I remember his perfect game as clear as day, but if you look at the anniversaries of his perfect game are also pretty cool. Like Zach Wheeler on the anniversary of Doc's perfect game through a complete game shutout. Something cool happened this year on that same day also. Maybe Nola might have gone a complete game. I'd have to look back on it, but if you look at that anniversary day through history, it's a great day for Phil's pitchers.
Hey, that's what we like to see. I was looking in my drawer here. That day, I remember it. I was at a Little League tournament, and I bought a Roy Halladay wristband. I thought it was the coolest thing ever that he went through a perfect game on the day that I bought that. I was like...
Dude, he was
I wish he was still with us. All right, man.
That's what's funny about, not that part, but what's funny about that staff is we're talking, like, we're having a serious debate about, which staff is better. And if you told me the same question, like World Series starts tomorrow, what's your lineup? For me, honest to God, it's probably Doc, Cliff, Cole, and then you start like maybe Wheeler, like Wheeler's 4. Like, and the numbers this year are great, but if you told me I had a chance to win a World Series and I have access to those 8 guys, it's probably Doc, Cliff, Cole, and then maybe you get into Wheeler then.
Yeah. And for spite purposes, I'm putting Ranger in the pen and using him in every high leverage situation possible.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy though. Like, I mean, as close as these two staffs are, the numbers are sensational. That I don't know, man. man. That
I
4
think
AC staff was so loaded.
if you power rank them, I think you could make an argument for Wheeler at 4 and then Ranger at 6, maybe 5. You could debate those two. With the season he's having, if he keeps it up, yeah. But it's the resume for Oswalt it was there, man.
Yeah, it's tough, but
it's a tough one. But like, I think that's my order.
Okay, I like it. I think that's a World Series right there. You might not even get to. It's probably a sweep.
Oh, it's unless Juan Soto or Aaron Judge are on their A game.
Yeah. Speaking of being on their A game, dude, Edmundo bitches love Sosa is absolutely.
I love it. Song. I love it, man. It's
like it's to the point where he's a true blue his whole life, the utility guy, but he is a shortstop. Like he is a shortstop. If you want to stretch it, he's an infielder. And he's hitting the ball so well, the Phillies are like, can he catch a fly ball? Can we put him in the outfield? We got to keep this guy in the lineup. He's that hot.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. You look at the advanced metrics, he's crushing in everything. He basically picked up where Trey Turner left off, and Trey Turner was on a ridiculous pace. Like, we can't forget about that. Like, Trey Turner was mashing the absolute crap out of the ball. He was hitting, 364, I believe? Something of that nature. I was up there. It was in the 360s. I'm confident about that. But, like, Edmundo just mashes the ball. And I know Jeff Passan released a article about, trade deadline rumors, and the first line was, can Edmundo Sosa play the outfield?
Yeah. Dude, it's true. He's hitting, in very limited work, he's hitting 294, 4 homers, 16 ribbies, most of which have come since Trey got hurt. At one point, I've probably lost track the last 4 days. At one point, he was leading the NL in slugging. Like, Edmundo Sosa, the backup shortstop for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's just red hot. And, you think of, what was it, that year we made a run at the 2022. He was a huge part of that 2022 team. Mm-hmm. And we got him from the Cardinals for, he was almost a throw-in. He was the utility infield that we might use in a pinch.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, I don't know.
Where was the hitting coach in there? We gotta give him money, man.
Kevin Long can never leave the building. Remember how long we couldn't find a hitting coach who was worth a damn? And now we have a guy who's turned Brandon Marsh into a stud, Sosa into a stud. When he took over, Bohm couldn't hit, Stock couldn't hit. Pache is a better hitter.
He is the Phillies' Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Yeah,
I think that's how you gotta look at it. He's never leaving that building unless
And Caleb Cotham to a certain degree too. Mm-hmm. He reinvented. We were just talking about the Phillies pitchers. He reinvented. With the whole starting lineup is different because of him. They pitch differently. He changed Jose Alvarado to throw more sinkers. Ryan Kerkering was raw as raw could be. He's a stud in year 2. Jeff Hoffman was on the unemployment line. He's going to be an all-star. What this guy's done, both assistant coaches have done, is nothing short of amazing.
Exactly. And I saw that. I got to bring up this tweet. Someone tweeted out that I need to see Jose Alvarado close out a World Series immediately, just how hype he is on the mound afterwards.
Dude, it's awesome.
Dude, I need it. Inject in my veins.
I love the hefty lefty. What he can do on the field is so fun. I forget what might have been, was it Brewers game 1? I forget what game I was watching when he had that insane scoop to first on the bunt coverage.
It was game 1. On Sunday Night Baseball. Dude, that was
game on Brewers. Yeah. Dude, he's a big ass dude. And he to have the body control to not only grab that ball,
that was against the Cardinals, my bad. That was a series finale against the Cardinals. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We lost that one, sadly. But can't win. Yeah, it's ridiculous,
And then before we get off the Phillies.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
This is question of the hour.
I know. We do need an hour for this. It's tough.
I know. You got me thinking now.
Yeah. What I was going to segue into was I don't know if you saw it. It would have been this afternoon, but there was a list posted of the top 10 first basemen in baseball. And Bleacher Report walk-off, which is like their baseball division, posted it. Power ranking, first baseman power rankings. Number 1 is Bryce Harper.
Okay.
Bryce Harper was a right fielder until Rhys Hoskins got there.
Yeah.
So he's played first base for, at this point, 1 full season, and he is the best first baseman in baseball.
I mean, he's shown it on the field. I mean, some of those picks, like if you actually sit down and watch the games,
oh, it's amazing.
He's saving a lot of runs.
Yeah, but he learned the position. He's like Jordan Mailata. Like he learned the position less than about a calendar year ago, and he is currently ranked ahead of guys like Freddie Freeman, most Hall of Famer, most likely.
Yeah.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a young sensation. Pete Alonso at one point was put in some very lofty conversations, like Matt Olson with the Braves. Bryce Harper is better than all these career first basemen.
It's also funny because 3 of the 5 people you mentioned are having a really down year.
Yeah.
Freddie's doing all right, but the rest of them?
That's what I'm saying. But this year aside, these are people who have dedicated their life to playing the position. And this guy picked it up a year ago, and he's the best in the world at it.
It's pretty nuts. Dude's talented.
It's ridiculous. He's not human. I mean, I get that he probably won't win an MVP. His numbers might not this year. I mean, I know he has several, but his numbers might not indicate it this year. But the things the Phillies ask him to do is bananas, and he does every single one of them all the time.
I mean, if he gets, I saw this discussed too online. If he goes on one of those crazy runs for 10, 15 games and stacks one or 2 of those together, he could very well be in the competition. I mean, Shohei and Mookie are kind of separating themselves a little bit now because they're kind of mashing the ball. But what are you going to do?
He can make a rewrite. If he gets Bryce Harper hot for, I think it might take a month with how well Mookie and Shohei are playing, but he could play himself into it. I don't care if he wins one. It doesn't matter. I know for the Phillies, he is asked to do as much, if not more, than any other star. He had to change positions really until this year, and even with this lineup, he hits pretty unprotected. A lot of these teams are able to protect their star hitters. Like with the Yankees, you have you got to deal with Soto and Judge. Like with Harp, Bones had a great season. JT's had a great season. The guys they've cycled through have had great seasons, but they don't. It's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, Mookie and Shohei have each other with Freddie Freeman. I mean, Jordan has Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, he's not protected that way.
He's not protected. Adolis, Corey Seager has Adolis behind him. All these guys, all these big money guys have someone a big.
He's putting up these kind of numbers while still being pitched around, which is pretty damn impressive. But there's a little bit of Eagles news, and we haven't gotten to talk about the Eagles in a couple of weeks. I mean, we'll be doing it coming up soon. We'll get to that towards the end.
Probably.
Yeah, probably mostly. But have you caught up at all with some of the inner workings of Brazil?
Yes.
Because I have some questions for Roger Goodell.
I have many questions. I saw the base report. I'll just keep it at that. I haven't looked super into it, but I saw the whole green thing. I saw the whole armored truck thing. Stuff of that deal.
Yeah, because what I can't quite figure out, and this is from Josh Jacobs, the running back over in Green Bay. I don't understand why they picked 2 teams whose primary color scheme is green to go to a country where we'll get to the gangs in a second, where they're not allowed to wear green. Pick 2 different teams. It's fine. Whatever. I was excited about it. Now I'm not. This is stupid. Pick 2 teams that aren't green. Take that one step further. I know we're trying to grow the game. Mm-hmm. We don't need to grow the game in a country as corrupt as Brazil, where color is outlawed and gang violence is so rampant. Grow it somewhere else.
I mean, they've been doing a really good job in Europe. I mean, why not just expand it in Europe? That's my thing. I know you want to hit a different section of the world.
Play Barcelona or some shit.
Oh, you know how sick if they got into it there, I've seen some. It's crazy. The Spanish crowd's insane.
Yeah,
I mean,
play Madrid, play Barcelona. It's easy. Play one of these countries that's not run by gangs.
I'm just worried about the players' safety because they have to stay in the hotel the whole time. I mean,
it sucks for the players, dude.
It's teetering on, not safe. Armored trucks.
No, I'd say we're squarely in unsafe.
Oh, we're when we get closer, I'm going to be, tipping it over, but
Now, like, dude, think about Big Dom is going to be working 24/7 that week.
he got a promotion, man.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw he's what the hell is his new title?
I forget his title, but it's so an incident like what happened last season can't happen again because he's part of the game day staff.
Ah, smart.
So it's more it's a little bit of a promotion, but it's more of a technical move.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about him on the field. I'm going to need him like in the favela of Brazil, like when these guys are moving around. I'm going to need Dom out front bashing heads.
Dude, I just don't get it.
Me either. Like off the top of our head, we just rattled off two way better cities. I'm sure. What's it called, dude? NFL in Ireland. Boom, done deal, easy. They love rugby over there. Send it. You know, a little bit more obscure. Dude, Italian. Same thing. If you love the Spanish soccer crowds, Italy.
Didn't we try in Mexico and the stadium was just an absolute disaster?
Yeah, Mexico doesn't have the infrastructure, unfortunately. They tried to use an old Olympic stadium and it just wasn't good enough.
I'm not even getting into the green part, man. I can't do it. Like, there's so many teams in this league that don't have the color green. I know you want to pick two promising teams that are going to make a good matchup for good viewership, you know, to grow the game. But you pick the two better teams with green.
Yeah, all they had to do was not pick Eagles, Packers, Dolphins, Jets. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think I'm missing anybody.
Seattle has a little green if you do the throwback.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We're way too technical with it.
We'll throw Seattle, but yeah. Okay, so that leaves you, 26 other teams that you could choose?
Just throw like the Ravens or Chiefs down there or something. Like,
yeah, there's other It doesn't make any sense. I was so excited for this, and now it just sucks.
I wouldn't throw anyone down there, but like I'm just saying, like, you know, two great teams, no green.
While we're talking about places to play, you're talking about the Eagles. If you wanted to send us somewhere, dude, send us down under. We have Jordan Mailata, probably the most famous Australian football export. Send us to Australia.
I mean, that's a fantastic move. I mean, the flights are crazy, but give them a bye week afterwards.
Yeah. It's
like week 8, give them the bye week 9.
Well, isn't Brazil technically kind of like where college football does week 0?
No, it's the Friday of. I'm pretty sure it's the Friday of.
Okay.
It's the opener Friday.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
So okay. It's not even like a week 0 game. It's just
if you're gonna do Australia, you'd have to do like a week 0.
A week 0, or you're gonna have to do it like I don't even know.
You couldn't have a week 2 bye, dude. That would suck.
Nah. It's complicated, but you can make it work, and of course, it's going to be a lot safer for the players, and of course, it'd be really cool for Jordan Mailata, and that would be like a documentary of that. I'd eat that up.
Because it's great for Philly, great for Jordan Mailata, but it's good for the NFL because he's like the most outspoken alumni of that NFL pipeline.
He announced the pick from there.
Yeah, he announced the pick from Australia, but I'm sure you listen as much as I do. Like, there is a pipeline program in select countries for guys who have never played organized football but have the raw skills to go. I believe it's held at like IMG Academy in Florida. They go to IMG and they learn you could do a week-long promo for your pipeline program with the guy with probably the most successful alumni.
I got to look up something real quick because I think we stumbled upon a genius idea. I just got to make sure what I'm thinking is right. Because I'm pretty sure the Lions took someone from that program. Just put the Lions and the Eagles. Yeah, University of British Columbia, tackle in the 4th round.
Yeah, there we go. Boom, there's your matchup.
Boom, Lions, Eagles in Australia. Let's run it.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's still both NFC. It's so easy. Roger, if you're listening, if you're out there, buddy,
please.
It's
good.
We haven't figured out. All I'm asking for is first class and tickets. We'll give you the idea. Hotel.
Oh goodness! It's just I just hope no one gets hurt. That's all I'm hoping for.
Me too. I think I get that none of our guys are bulletproof. But if you're trying to jump somebody in the streets of Brazil, me personally, I would avoid this Eagles team.
True.
There's some dudes our quarterback. I don't know if you've seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures.
Shredded. One of the
Absolutely.
smaller guys on the team is still scary as shit. Then you got to go deal with Jordan Davis. You got to deal with Carter. Not to mention, I think it's like C.J. Gardner-Johnson got some crazy, and I'm like, there's
He's
a
already
lot of
yelling
dudes
at
on that
teammates,
team
though,
you
I've
don't
heard.
want to mess with.
But like, how are you supposed to perform at the highest level
You know?
with all of that atmosphere?
It's like the NBA bubble all over again. They're going to be stuck in a hotel and miserable.
Yeah, but the NBA bubble, if you went to the Jimmy Butler's coffee shop or something, you're like,
Yeah,
okay.
that's true. They had those things.
You're like, okay, you could hang out, you could do what you want in that resort. There was no imminent danger.
Well, other virus.
Yeah, the virus, but not outside the. I'm saying I understand that, but I'm saying like inside their bubble.
Yeah, I got you.
Inside their bubble, you could walk outside.
Yeah, people. I remember like those videos of, like Ben Simmons fishing and stuff back when it wasn't the worst. But yeah, I see your point. It was more fun than this is going to be. I feel bad for the guys. I mean, all these because you hear of New Heights podcast talk about it. Like Travis loved his time in Germany. I was fortunate enough to see an NFL game in London, and like it was a great event. Like, I feel bad for the Eagles because they're getting robbed of so many cool fan experiences that. Like we're talking about London with the Phillies and how they have a street closed off for like the Phillies parties and the street off the Mets parties and the bars. I don't see a way where Brazil's going to be able to do that. It's not going to be safe. You're just going to go to the game and then leave, and it doesn't grow the game at all.
Look, I've witnessed a couple of UFC events down there because they go down there with all the fighters, all the great fighters.
Mm-hmm.
It seems messier, at least in the arena. Like not messier, but like people leave and like it's just, like of course they keep it under control, but like it just doesn't seem like the fan base. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to put words. It's one of those things that like in retrospect was really good, and then the execution was good, but the things just didn't mesh.
Yeah, well, I think this year, if the execution's not good, you're looking at the safety issue, which is, unfortunate. But we'll wait and see. Maybe Brazil will surprise us. I don't think they will. I'm stoked to see the Phillies in London this weekend, and I hope that next week we'll have a series sweep across the pond to talk about. Next 2 weeks, we have two awesome guests coming up. If you've been watching the show for a little while, Brendan Deeg, our Eagles insider, is going to be coming back next week.
I'm going to pick his brain. Training camp started today.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have a week camp under our belts. Brendan is the man. He knows more about the Eagles than most people in Philadelphia, and he is a Canadian native. So we always love having him on. And then the following week, if you follow, it's really everything. But Phillies, he's a master of Phillies. It's Nick Pacone. If you've ever seen a This You tweet, odds are it came from him.
Dude, he was smoking people.
He keeps all the receipts. If you've ever said anything, he has you documented, and he's coming for your ass. So we have Nick on the week after. It's going to be a lot of fun.
He's owning Yankees fans that I've seen recently. They're like
Yankees fans.
He's like, "This you?" I'm like, "Oh my god."
Braves fans. He's got them in a chokehold. Like I'm stoked to have Nick on.
You think dude has like a dictionary of receipts, man? I'm gonna ask him.
Yeah, he's got to have. I want to know if he has a library. I think he does.
I gotta ask. I need to know.
Yeah. So the next 2 weeks, absolute heaters. Make sure you check it out. There'll be Wednesday episodes. So next Wednesday, 9 Eastern. And the following Wednesday, 9 Eastern, Brendan Deeg and Nick Pacone back to back. So make sure you don't miss those. For this week, I'm Brandon. He's Brian. This is the Patson Report. We'll see you later.